Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular meeting of October 22. As always, I'll start the meeting just with a quick note. We are gathering on the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, where the ancestors signed a peace and friendship treaty with the British Crown in 1700. Mr. Clerk, we do have quorum. Everyone's here. Number 3. Our Councillor Bro is on vacation. Is traveling. Councillor Lloydwell. The Shediac Cape Councillor will be replaced after the complementary election of December 9. In terms of 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Any council members would like to declare any conflict of interest? Seeing no one. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. You have the agenda in front of you, and we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Councillor Joël Després, seconded by Councillor Jean-Marie Gala. Questions? If all in favor, saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. 5, adopt. We have 4 minutes to adopt this evening. So, Mr. Clerk, caught up. So, we need a motion for each one of them. So, we'll just take a little bit more time. So, for the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 17th.
Vous avez eu la chance d'en faire la lecture.
You probably had the chance to read it. Moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Jean-Claude Bertrand. Questions on the motion, on the minutes, or before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor, saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. 5.2, minutes of the special meeting held on June 24, 2024. I will need a motion to move by Councillor Emile Byron, seconded by Councillor Jean-Marie Gala. Questions on this minutes? All in favor, saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Thank you. 5.3, minutes of the special meeting of July 25th. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Councillor Joël Després. Questions on this one? No, all in favor, saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. 5.4, minutes of special meeting of August 6, 2024, moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Patricia Bourg-Chevary. Questions? All in favor, saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Item 6, we have one presentation for the skate park. It's located on Webster Street. So I think Mr. the artist will who has the control of the PowerPoint. So it's our clerk.
Excellent.
Just 1 minute.
Ça, c'est la photo avant. C'est ça.
This is the picture before. I'm a professional artist of the region, and one of my specialty, I like to think that's a broken and transform something that is we transform it like in a value. It gives like a new function and new life, and people do not like they throw like the arts work in the garbage. I go around when they put the big garbage out. So in the meantime, well, I built a house with my father in Shediac, one of our great project, and I was able to discover a new area, and I discovered like the skate park. And when I saw this, well, I fell in love, like how it was damaged and the potential I would see. So I approached Julie, and she was able to find me like a little bit emergency fund. So I got some money like to buy some paint, and we were able to transform like the park. So just switch picture. If you don't know me, for example, I like to draw murals and I like to take spaces and transform them with balloons and so. This is the house we just built. You probably go there. So it's one of my designs. So my father, one thing we like to do, work full time at evening. We'll build and we do almost everything, like 90% of all the steps to build the house. And it's the same like for the skate park. Everything that was done by myself, my father, and people from the community. Next one. So when I came there, the 420, there was a whole bunch of something that was sad to see. There's the big culture of graffiti, and unfortunately there was none. Was disaster, like a lot of gray paint, very dangerous because you cannot see the angles. You don't know where the ramp end starts or ends. Not very appetizing or attractive. Next one. And a lot of racist messages, a lot of messages that should not see in the public space. So these are like the color of the town. And one thing I did, anyone who was coming to the park, either adults, children, I give them like a paintbrush. We show them like techniques and let's go. So you see Julie gave me a couple of red t-shirts like that. 56, around 70% will help us informally. So in the last few days, it's a great community project. This is my mother, and some children came many times. So a lot of new children. Some are newcomers, and maybe forward. Like they were very happy, to see me. Like every time they came to participate. Next one, and this is the drone before. It's really drab, like it lost its value, dangerous, and it's one of the picture we took halfway, and then I'll try. And for example, like the blue dots. So every where there were graffiti, I covered them, and I see like a lot of young population coming to the park with daycare, so to slide. Sometimes they're 20-30 kids, and they're preschoolers. So I connect all my blue dots to do some games like floors, lava, tag. So they're able to play creative games. So everything I do, it's something like people can use their own imagination. So we're very creative. Something that's really nice, when I went there was no skateboard outlet because too many rocks. You could not see the surface. So I noticed they're more like athletes, like skateboard fans going there. I think that's another. A lot of parents also, I noticed, they were just standing close to the words. So I did many things so people and the adults, they want to do something and participate. One of the mom, she's playing on a new game, as actually see her little boy is following her. Next one. So this table was full of graffiti and obscene messages, so we fill it with stickers. So we're trying to have some techniques that people can self-manage. People realize something. They can just put a sticker and they can go to Loramo. So there's a lot of solutions, they're very creative solutions. And so we did more phase one. It was to aesthetic phase and connect with the community, really to transform the space as soon as possible, so it's not as dangerous. And media do not come with their camera to show the racist messages. So one thing I will approach you soon. It's phase two. There's no power in the sites and no water, no lights, so you cannot bring a pressure washer, and you cannot connect the music if you have an event. And evenings, it's really dark, so more people can come and create trouble, or homeless also just invade the space. So it's just things so the intervention I'm doing now. So it's for long term. it could become a space, like an iconic space. Like you have the Big Lobster, Poly Beach, Moktotu. So I would like to have like an iconic space. Like when people think about Shediac, they think also of the skate park. And one of the things that will be really needed will be to have something for small children, because right now the structures are too advanced for them, and to have something. A lot of people also they're driving a mountain bike. I saw a lot of seniors with the scooter. I saw like a mom with her baby like in the basket. So something that's more approachable. And I think Shediac is for prom track for people who are driving riding a mountain bike. So it's something I imagine. So next one, I'm so used just to have my little clicker. So these could be more complicated with concrete, but it could be handmade. So I could be talking about this for hours, and I imagine like some people. Thank you very much. And do you have any questions or comments? I appreciate your time, but I'm available to take any questions. I would like to thank Julie. Like, she's been incredible so far. And finally, like I did this 5 minutes ago, literally didn't have time to. It's a little gift for you. This unofficial logo. Thank you very much. It's the one from this cap come from a Bass Pro Shop, and it's been modified. Thank you very much. For this project, the skate park we had was another location. We had to put the structure in storage. These were like a concrete, so it did not melt in the suns. But to put it, and it was installed back there after many years, like being in storage, and it was at least to have a space. And those structures, well, the concrete structure was not some. They will not be at the end of their life. And they will be used again, and it gives like people a space. As you see, their graffiti, like a lot of so it's done on a weekly or monthly basis or annual basis. So it was showing like its age, like the before picture were not as nice, and just what you did, like with pictures, and admire like your imagination. To make sure like this place is attractive for young people. There might be something we're able to do, like just to improve this, like the site even more. Thank you. And actually, like one of my vision, it would become like a creative park. So you could welcome various type of artists and people, either like do breakdancing or. I would like to become a place where it's really attractive, like because I have projects like work on those artist booth. It would be nice like to go there and to work with people in the community. So now it's being transformed. Thank you to you and your family we give, and the citizen also. And citizen, like they just come to see and they help. We have a couple of questions, like maybe compliment. Councillor Paul Bourgeois, well, bravo and congratulations. So I saw you very many times. And yes, there's more people like that did not go to that park. I appreciate like the park. And now we have one of the nicest one. Just a question for Julie. Will there be more increased security, like cameras, like to keep it like the site as nice as we can, because it's always a risk. Is there something that will happen? And it was for the I would like some recommendations to develop, like for the security. So there's always camera, but when it's too redundant, we cannot like justify like to go forward. But with this work of art that was done, it would be difficult not to justify like for. If something is doing vandalism. Yes, we will make sure we to follow up if there's an event. And for budget, well, Mathieu presented this idea, so I'm just looking in different budget lines. It's really like a question of culture. When you build like a culture, the sense of belonging, like the 50, 100 people should not do any trouble. It's really like a sense of belonging and really to create some habits. And one thing I suggested is awareness for people, the community and employees. What can you do with their graffiti on the table? Put a sticker. We have other strategies you put happy face. So it's just like hundreds of happy face instead of graffitis. Nothing wrong with a happy face. So, Mrs. Deputy Mayor, so the skate park we have it's dear to our heart. Thank you, because I think other subject was tackled, but thank you very much. I noticed without knowing your presentation, I think it was last Friday, I saw this and I said, wow, I was almost emotional. Like, I'm really pleased with what you did. And we will continue to work together. And we did it within a month and a half. Councillor Janice Cormier, great work. So it's really improved the area, and it improved and it's cleaner than ever. My only question, we'll put a protective layer of something on the murals, or is it something we cannot put there's a special coating you can put for graffitis. You can wash it, but it's one of the things we would like to do it's phase 1, but this phase 2 it's one of the strategies they're using. I will not get into details. So it's a very good idea and it's necessary. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. So, number 7. We have a letter from Au Bon Soin, Mr. Clerk. Yes, and I was aware, Councillor Boudreau. So we will be. We receive a letter from Hélène Somani, she's the coordinator, for a special project at Au Bon Point, and she's asking for funding 655 money, of course, to have a great Christmas, for the 50 people at that residence, without knowing the team was working on this one. Well, the team is working on this one. So Mrs. Somani was in contact with Julie Sim and Liette Paulin. She's our community officer, and she worked on this one. And everything is in place, just to help. So Mrs. Somani and the Foyer Au Bon Soin, so they can have a great Christmas, a very warm Christmas. Everything has started there. So it's great for the municipality to support this. In terms of reports for standing a special committee report, so we have no financial report. It's every 2 meetings. Protection services, we have the police servicing for the first quarter. As for the Southeast Regional Service Commission, so it would be the Westmoreland and Albert County, and we can see the statistics Shediac within this one. Our police officers are not here this evening, at least some information, and they present it a municipality by municipality, so at least it gives some indication. Unless it would be any questions, maybe we could do a follow-up with the RCMP. So, yes, we can get back to it another day. In terms of fire department, so we have the usual report from our fire chief with some statistics. And the fire chief is not here this evening. So if you have any questions, we can forward these questions, so you can come back to us. Essentially, it's the same statistics. Sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower, depending on what's happening. We do not like to see high numbers because there were more problems or more accidents or more incidents, but We had no report from building permits. We had them at the last meeting. For the mayor's report, so I submitted you something for the Regional Service Commission. Essentially, like it's for the, so we got into a regional contract for the solid waste collection. Essentially, it's all the municipalities from Southeast except for Greater Moncton and Memramcook. They decided to opt out, and because of the grant with the new way it works, all the recyclables, everything that's part of the blue bag. Previously, like the commission, like would sell it on the market, like cardboard, plastic. Now it's sold like to a business. It's just called circular material, and it's a business like throughout Canada, very similar like to a recycling system. And because of this, circular material is giving a grant, essentially. So because we're doing the work for them in a sense. So the cost for the waste to process like the recyclables or the real like garbage or composting or the green bag, it goes from $66 per resident to $44 per resident for 84 cents per week. It's not a lot like to deal with garbage. And for the collection, well, the annual cost would be 4.8 million for the whole region, and our share is $810,000 for the town of Shediac, and including like all the new like sections. Previously, like it was a different contract. Now it's one contract, and it's like $2.90 per person per week, essentially. Grand total $373 like to pick up and process like your garbage per household resident. In terms of the budget that was submitted for 2025, the cost for Plan 360 are huge things. It's simple, but the costs are according to our tax base. So the more our tax base increase, the more cost. But we have more money to pay for them essentially. So in terms of the collaborative services, so the 2025 prediction for major investment like the Shoreline Trail, it goes from Alma to Shediac and Capelli. That's the so we are forecasting like predicting like a major expense, like to do a trail section. And for other like highlights that should appear in terms of regional transportation through a study with UNB and a consultant proposing like for 2025 like the purchase of 21 minivans. 7 of them would be adapted for wheelchair users. Is for like a regional transportation for the whole region. Essentially, to go like from an appointment like you're from Shediac, Skoduk, or Salisbury, or Alma. Essentially, like to go to your appointments that would bring Greater Moncton. You can use in Greater Moncton you can use like the Kodiak bus services, but we're looking to purchase like and this service would be available in 2026 because by the time you order a car, you don't get it 2 weeks. You don't get it 2 weeks after. And for the economic development, like something that we're not maybe as aware. All the regional economic costs nothing to the municipalities, zero. It's paid by provincial funds. As of now, it might change, but the province is ready like to invest, and we signed an agreement over 10 years. And it would be like an amount will be given to each service commission for many projects, especially for economic development. So the taxpayers, they don't pay anything, like either for the town of the city of Moncton or town of Riverview. It gives you like an idea. Question, Councillor Joël. Thank you for the information concerning the garbage or the grant. Is it something? It's new because I don't think it was presented. It's something. It was part of the contract that we adopted. Like remember original contract, but we're not sure like what would be the cost. I think Miller was awarded the contract. And the amount of the grant was known because we signed with them. It was each amount of money per household or tons. Now it's being applied now. So since May, sorry. Councillor Roland, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great news for the shoreline train. We seem to be going the right direction. A few meetings ago at the council, we had asked to invite Marc Léger again, to give us an update, to see where it was at, with the purchase or the land easement in the region for Scoudouc to Dieppe. I would like to know when we will have a presentation from Mr. Léger. So the presentation should be held on November 4th. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I was not sure. So I know we asked him, Councillor Paul Boudreau. For the budget, Mr. Mayor, are these requests, as you know, 5% increase? Do we have a say in this? And the other one, it's an excellent project. Thanks for your question, Roland, for the shoreline trail. Are they asking us for a certain amount? And they're saying us the budget for the regional service budget is adopted by them. Essentially, we have no say. We can give some feedbacks, ask questions, but so they might change their budget proposal. So it's something we can do, but essentially that's what they expect to adopt by 2025. For Plan 360, it's a formula. It's like the police service. It's based on your tax base and your population. But for Plan 360, it's the two same item. If you're a certain size, so that's the amount. If you're smaller, that's what you pay. It's an essential service. It's not frustrating. An agency comes in. We're trying to have a good budget, and they come in and they impose us to pay a certain amount, 5%. We have 5% more service, 5% more for the service we receive. So they come here and say, we want 200, 3,000, and we say yes. We don't have a choice. And the vote is done. It's not at this table. It's done at the RSC table. The other option, well, if we don't want Plan 360, we have to pay ourselves for the service. And
c'est ça le choix de la municipalité.
Just questioning, that's the choice of the municipality.
Councillor Roland Cormier, de nouveau.
Councillor Roland Cormier. I would like to comment also but we still have some representative from our municipality. So if there's something we think we do not agree, at least we have one vote or two, and Mr. Mayor votes. So if there's something that this is a concern, and the council agrees agrees with that concern, we can send the instruction for the mayor, he's one of the 13 individuals. So I just want for us to at the council we're not forced, we're not obligated. We have a representative there, and the mayor can vote for or against. But still, we're still at the discussion table and the decision table. The same as any administrative board. Councilor Emily Ryan. Can it be changes when they will pick up the garbage? I will tell you why. Once we were told we would be allowed one blue bag, and the rest it wasn't clear. Any change on this one? Or? I never thought we had one like a sack. If you need 3, well, it's just you mentioned this, but at the beginning, but the presentation. But I was just wondering, the only change like there was a issue for green, and some components could not go there, the blue bags, but it should be recycled either like in the clear bag. But the plan for to inform the population is really like AK 360 will develop it, and they will ask for the help of the municipality, like to inform the population. But these are the only changes. I don't think there's any limits for the number of bags, but especially like what will be part of those bags that could change. And we will have to inform people. Thank you.
Oui.
A question or comments for the garbage collection. The regional collection will only start in February.
From here to February, status quo, same program will be in effect. There might be a few other small changes, particularly for large special collections. This will happen every 2 weeks. You could put one large bulk item when the white bags are going out. So 26 times a year, you'll have the opportunity to throw out an item. You don't need to keep it in your shed, and the municipality is not. You can't say that it's a big garbage week some weeks. It's a new system that will be used. But in terms of the cost, we receive a grant from Circular Materials that would be provided. To answer, we're speaking of 5% from Regional Service Commission. That's not the total cost that's imposed. It's 5% in that category, but in all, yes, there will be an increase. There's some pressure, cost of living, and then programs that will be delivered. All in all, the last version I saw, it's less than 4% in terms of a total increase for their items with the Regional Service Commission. There are some items, well, the share of the municipality goes from 23%, from 42%. There's one item, it's a reduction of over 40%, but the amount was $7,000. So the 40% less, it's not a big savings, but it'll cost less. And there's grants that the Commission receives that we're not eligible for. It's not a service that we offer, given the Regional Service Commission model. Their mandate is to deliver certain services for the regions, for the region. The RSC in Southeast works well and probably better in other regions. Councillor Cormier spoke to it, but this budget is provided. The CAOs are presented the budget at the same time as the board of directors. As CAOs give their feedback, we share any concerns. We also share any programs mentioned. Often at the Regional Service Commission, there's a bit of a disconnect between what they do and the service that we deliver. Your Worship asked me to invite perhaps the Regional Service Commission to come meet the council or share all the various services they offer. I've had this discussion with the Regional Service Commission. We will invite them to a meeting so that they can present what they do, what it costs, and then you can ask the questions to the manager of the Regional Service Commission. They're better placed to answer certain questions and technical questions. So the only other thing I was going to mention tonight, in terms of Union of Nova Scotia Municipalities, we had our annual meeting 2 weeks ago in Fredericton. The chair changed. The chair was the mayor of Tantramar, Andrew Black. He closed out his term. Now it's Mayor Brittany Merrifield, the mayor of Granby Westfield, just next to St. John. So we also, there were many workshops, sort of succession planning in the medical sector, the tax reform. We might not have the version that the government had in mind. The government changed. since yesterday. So we'll see what will happen there. It will take a bit of time. There was also a workshop on local governance. Gisèle Gauguin is in charge of that commission, what it does and how it works. So she explained that at a high level, and many other workshops. I was accompanied by Councillor Roland Cormier and Councillor Harry McEnroy. A great weekend on that front. I didn't have a chance to write my report for the Francophone municipality meeting. That was last weekend. I will do that for next meeting. So, are there any council members who would like to make any reports related to their committees in terms of the committee that you sit on, oftentimes with external organizations? Councillor Paul Boudreau, I'll do this quickly. Senior-friendly municipalities, we're recruiting members. I think we need 8. Julie, is that right? Yes, we're making good progress. We're anxious to get some projects together. Chamber of Commerce, those who registered, thank you for participating. We're recognizing some businesses. Protective services didn't meet, and economic did not meet either. That's all. Thank you very much. Councillor Roland Cormier, thank you, Your Worship. I have 2. The fire hall, as you know, as you can see, everything looks like it's working well. It's going forward. For the council members who are still waiting on the sign to see what the new fire hall will look like in terms of for the citizens, staff has let me know that it's on their list. If we can wait a bit more, a few weeks, we should see it, just so to see what it will look like visually. On the committee, the Community Garden Committee. This year was a busy year. It's a group of volunteers is pretty incredible. It started last year with nothing, and if you go take a look at what they've done, everything is basically done. I'm not sure if they're done or nearly done, but there's a greenhouse that they're setting up. And this spring, they will start growing lots of things for the next spring. We were 2 great fundraisers this spring and fall. They went great. The provincial governments was generous with money for infrastructure programs. That committee is incredible. They're so well organized in terms of going and putting their hand out everywhere. Julie, thank you for your team. When they speak properly, well of you, if they're happy, I'm happy. So continue to support them as we support them now, as we should support them. It's pretty impressive to see what they've done. Even in the summer, they had yoga sessions, gardening sessions, meditation sessions. Every week, there's something that someone comes to offer in terms of sessions. If you have some free time and you want to follow their page, you could be busy this summer. Just if you participate in all the activities that they're organizing within the community garden. So I congratulate that team, Your Worship. As I say, they're doing yeoman's work, excellent work. Thank you, Councillor Cormier. It's a great project that they have out there. Councillor Janice Cormier, thank you, Your Worship. It's just to let you know that the AGM of the Shediac Marina will be this Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Multifunctional Center. Unfortunately, I won't be present, given that I have other commitments. But if you're available and you're interested in participating, it's at 7 o'clock this Thursday. That's the Shediac Marina. Thank you very much. So, Next point, CAO's report. Was there something else, Councillor Janice? No? You hit your button again.
Monsieur Léger.
Mr. Léger, thank you, Your Worship. Last month, I did, my report was rather short. I'll let the clerk share some of the day-to-day stuff in the municipality. I'm sure he doesn't want me to do that again, so I'll give you a full report for the past month. We're currently in deliberations. We're preparing the budget deliberations right now. We had lots of meetings internally with the finance director to prepare various options and various scenarios that we'd like to present to you during those deliberations. We also set aside some dates, 3 dates so far, to sit down and have a discussion with the council. One thing over the past year that we always had at that time was the tax base. Unfortunately, we still haven't received the tax base yet. We typically receive them at the start of October, but we received some correspondence from the Union of Municipalities New Brunswick and the Francophone Association and AAMBD. They had a meeting with the Department for Local Governance, and they were told that the distribution of the tax base will be delayed due to the elections, and the release of the figures would only be provided once the new cabinet has had a chance to study the figures. So that brings us into a period. Well, obviously, if we look at the election took place last night, there's a transition period, usually between 14 and 20 days. There's a swearing in, an appointment of the cabinet, and the cabinet has to focus on it. So we're looking at mid-November, if we're lucky, before we can get our numbers. The Local Governance Act obliges us to adopt a budget before 15th November or 30 days after we receive the tax base numbers. Obviously, the 15th of November 15th will not be observed, so it should be 30 days after that date. We would like to obviously maintain some dates on the week of the 11th to present the budget, to not slow things down or delay things, but the adopting the budget will happen later. I can't give you a precise date. We're still waiting on figures. When we'll have a more precise date, we can share it. We'll have 2 dates in November and a third date to look at, and it might align with a regular meeting. We don't know. We might need to do a special meeting, but we'll give you some more information. We're also working on our 5-year plan in terms of infrastructure. There's obviously many projects and lots of things that we'd like to foresee in terms of infrastructure that will require an appearance before the Lending Commission. The last time we went before the Lending Commission, it was shared with us that our current 5-year plan is a bit out of date over the past year. Well, the new investment that we have to do, so we have to do some work on that to put in the financial results when we apply for new projects in the future to the before the Lending Commission. We're also working on capital spending fund for the development of the gas tax, as you call it. We've received the amount that we will be receiving for the next 5 years. We have to adopt a plan. We have something that we'll present to the council soon. Second point related to the budget, it's strategic planning. I had the opportunity to speak with the consultant and several times actually to make sure that the file that the wind doesn't come out of the sails for that one. I'd say that the public consultations are done 2 weeks ago. The last one was with all staff. was an all-staff meeting. I'll talk about the all-staff meeting a little bit later. It was a great consultation, and we'll soon be presented a summary. And we're looking at a few dates to come present for discussion with the council. We'll discuss the results with the council of those public consultations, and we'll see how we can adopt the financial plan. So in terms of the all-staff meeting with the staff, I think it was a great opportunity for me in particular to introduce myself to the staff, to get to know them. It's nice to see a name on the org chart, but I'd like to know who is working for the team, what type of work they're doing. I'm a person who's very engaged, who wants to create an environment, a team spirit environment that is strong, that is respectful. It's a team approach. I want to know who are our players and who we're working with. So it's a lovely opportunity for me to introduce myself and learn to know the employees who work for us. But I went a step further. I heard some things during that meeting that I think our employees want to be heard. They want to have a voice, but they feel they have concerns as well. It's important as CAO to hear what our employees have to say, what are their concerns, and I'd say there's been lots of changes with this municipality over the years. There was a pandemic, there was growth, economic growth, and that requires that we offer more new, different services and deliver them in a different way. And then you add in municipal reform and all that. So I think that our municipality is very different than it was before, not only in terms of who is working for us, but in terms of how we have to manage it. We also have to assess. This will actually allow us to assess the current, past, and future needs in terms of existing services. We provide recommendations. You have certain objectives that you want to achieve. We need to have the staff to be able to meet your objectives. It will also enable us to align ourselves between the council and to the ground level with the staff. I would say that we may not have evolved as much as an organization. For some things, we certainly do things in an old school way, and there'll be an organic change. I'm not saying we should have to change everything and that everything's going badly, but status quo might not be working as it stands. There's some technological improvements that we have to look at. There's improvements that we have to look at in terms of the way we deliver services in a better way, a more affordable way. We need to look at that and study them to ensure that we're at the cutting edge with our citizens. In terms of Main Street, the Main Street project, it's completing itself. Where Bob tells us we're on time. There are certainly some moments where we'll have to have some two-way traffic or close two-way traffic. We do as much as we can maintain two-way traffic, but for now, it's open. One lane is open. There'll be other road closures, more detours that you'll see in the next few weeks for other smaller projects, and we will communicate to that effect on social media. In terms of community life, we're planning a meeting. We'd like to invite Luc Bugeaud to do a presentation in terms of consultations for the rec center. I think we're looking for a meeting on November 4th, where we'll be able to share that. And the consultation is done. That was done a few weeks ago. And evidently, we met our obligations in terms of election NB to fill the seat for Ward 3. So we will go to, there'll be a by-election soon. That's my thank you, Mr. CAO, Councilor Leonard Cormier. Any questions? Thank you, Your Worship. 2 questions. Thank you very much. I find it very positive that we meet our employees to see what they think. Congratulations. That's really great. Often, our employees could often have some solutions to problems. They are the specialists. They do that work every day. And I'm one of the people who thinks that we have to listen to them as much as we can. There are restrictions, yes, but still, in terms of that, in the municipal world, I know that in other sectors it can exist, but in the municipal sector, are there committees that exist? Worker management committees. Is this something that the municipality has access to, or you don't even know what it is? That means you don't have it. Well, he might know it under a different name. Well, it's a committee. It's an employee committee. I know that traditionally a lot of our employees are unionized, and they have a union local to deal with. Maybe in a small municipality, it's less busy than other places, perhaps, but traditionally, every 2 or 3 months, the employees of one part of the union meet with the employer. Are there issues or something like that? I don't know if you do this. I'd say, in terms of meeting with the unionized employees, this we do. We do that. There's one that's foreseen very soon. It's scheduled very soon. I would even add that the all-staff meeting, we had it. I think the feedback that we got from staff is that staff wants to see them happen regularly. We're already scheduling one in January with the staff. I haven't yet shared it with the staff, but we're planning something at the start of the year to share with staff, to share what we want to accomplish for next year. What are the objectives? The council adopts a budget. We want to give them a roadmap that they can follow. We want to inform them. Let's not forget our employees, our ambassadors. It's often the people that people on the ground ask questions about if they don't have the information, they don't know what to answer. I can tell you that when I was hired during the hiring process, and I think I heard this, I think I'll continue to hear this. The more communication that can happen within our organization, the more communication that will happen with our residents, the more informed we will be, and the better equipped we will be to meet the needs of the populace. Thank you. And I entirely agree with you. Another small question. You spoke of the gas tax. You said that we'd reveal it at some point. Is it during the budget process? No, the amount that we received is public. It's already published on the website, the provincial government website. I don't have the figure before me, pardon me, but it's at least 3.8 million just for Shediac, yes, for 3 years, for 5 years. Divided by 5. Thank you. I think it's it. Carol is indicating yes. 3.8 something million. That's good news. It's like an auction now. Can I hear 3.9? Councillor Paul Boudreau. I was going to ask it later, but now for the recreation center. With the discussion that you had with the consultants, are we still in agreement with the timeline? This worries me. I'm not. The federal window, it's less open. How long will it be open? Are we respecting that? Do you know what I'm referring to? I think I'll let the consultant share the next steps. There are recommendations regarding the next steps. I think that question would be best asked of him. I can tell you, just based on my own experience, that different financing programs, well, there's always been those. There'll always be that. It's not the programs that issue, it's the person who lead the programs. Thanks. Councillor Patricia Book-Chevalier. Thank you, Yves, for your report. I just have a question related to staff meeting. It was just the directors. It was all of the staff, all of the staff. Everybody who is a full-time employee with the municipality was invited. We did some exercises. Ben came and presented things. He wanted to take the pulse. We took the opportunity to share how I see things, what I'd like to see from the employees, what are my expectations of them. But we made sure to do some icebreaker activities. People in public works, we didn't want them all sitting at the same table. And not in the recreation, we didn't want the same place. There was there was assigned seating, and we mixed everybody up. There was a mix of people around the table. It was different opportunities. I know some names on the list, but I don't. But the faces that know. But other employees in our organization who have the same feeling. They don't know the other employees. We're one team. There's not three teams. Maybe there are several departments, but we're one team. And if there are silos, we have to break those silos. We have a vision. It's a team vision, whether it be community life and administration, etc. My directors have heard it often enough. We work in collaboration here. We need to find a better way to be a family, a team, a unified team that delivers service to the populace. Congratulations. And what number of employees were there? Well, fewer than 50, but I don't have the exact number. There was a few missing because of holidays and illness. I'd say 95% of employees were there. Inaudible. Great. Thank you very much. Next item. So there's no recommendations of the Regional Service Commission for Southeast. Nothing on unfinished business or under new business. Number 13, requests for information on council members. Is there anything you'd like some information on that we haven't yet covered in the CAO's report, etc.? Councillor Ronald Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. 3 questions. The first question, there's an environment committee that was struck at the start of 2024. I know that there's been one meeting. There's the death of a councillor. There's been a new CAO, a process. These were all valid excuses. But now, it might be time to have a meeting for that committee. So, Your Worship or Mr. CAO, do we have the intention of scheduling a meeting? If yes, when? And if not, why not? Well, do you want to contribute? Eventually, yes. It is our intention to have a meeting of that committee. We certainly must have to replace the member of the council. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a lot of things that we're covering right now. Strategic planning is underway. I think that it's important to gather for a specific agenda. I think that the committee has to meet to discuss those issues. We haven't yet organized a meeting, but we will eventually have one. The budget timeline for the time that we're in, it's just that people inaudible. So, Your Worship, you were there. Councillor McElroy was there as well at the not the Francophone Association, the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick. There's a supplier of services called Canu. I don't know the program. I didn't get a presentation. Its program is given to all municipalities, opportunities to save for services that we purchase. I would like to see a presentation by that organization. I'm not saying that there's savings to be had in terms of using them or not, but I'd like to know the variety of services that they offer as an elected official, if I can save on certain products that could be useful to the municipality, I think that it's worth to at least hear them and study them. So, Your Worship, I'd like to see that sometime. I'll ask again. I'll give you more than 2 weeks, but and another thing, something that's more and more current, it's social media. Whether we like it or not, there's social media, and it's easy to comment on things, to comment on social media on the municipal page, and sometimes there are good things, and sometimes things are not as good. And I'd ask your Worship or Mr. CAO, I'd ask staff, do we have a policy? Nobody is responsible for, well, policing. It's a big name to act as policemen, but
it might be draining on them.
It might be.
Je dis pas que it is or it isn't.
I'm not saying it is or it isn't. Is there a policy? There are many municipalities that have a social media policy. Do we have one? If we don't have one, should we have one? And our Director of Communications might be able to speak on what we're doing right now. Maybe we're doing a good job right now. Right now, there's not really a policy, Councillor Cormier. That's an excellent suggestion. I think we're just using common sense, and I'll take advantage of this moment to say that whatever is happening, there's always citizens there to answer other citizens.
Avec justement des commentaires positifs. Donc, ce côté-là, je dois quand même lever mon chapeau à beaucoup de citoyens de la ville de Shediac, parce que si on regarde, par exemple, le projet de la rue Maine, ben, il y a beaucoup de gens qui étaient moins contents, qui ont peut-être...
Other people were not so happy, and they might wrote something that were not as nice for the team and the town in general, but there's still some citizens are there to say, look, they're doing a good job and great work, and they're working hard, and it can be done in February. Just to tell you, like, there's still some common sense in that one, just to tell you, like, the communication officer, like, she's always in contact with them, and I'm always in contact with them. So if there's something happening, like really a personal attack, like for employees or citizens or councillors or council members, we will act. But in general, no, it did not happen. So the point I want to make, if you feel like you are overwhelmed, like with negativism,
je vais t'assurer que moi, je suis...
I want to assure you, like, I would be ready to do my share as a councillor. If you allow me, like, yes, we will adopt a few administrative policy. We'll talk a little bit about how we should work in an environment that's a positive environment, but we're in the process for developing a policy exactly like what you're saying. And it's not only like on social media, it's the interaction we're having our citizen, like on a daily basis. Sometimes, well, sometimes it's not always Catholic, like we're not always like it's not always pleasant, but we want to give some tools to our staff, and we're doing customer service. We want to give them the tool, like on how what process we can follow, like to deal with the items like this one. The social media will be part of it, so we'll present you something soon to adopt a policy about mentioning directly what you're mentioning. Councillor Janice, thank you, Mr. I have two things. The first one, Bob, is a few meetings ago, I asked to see if we could check like with our like a crosswalk, like to put a light, if it would be a possibility to add a sound, like when people like are using those crosswalk.
Je vais allumer son micro pour lui.
Yes, so
Oui, cette question-là, on l'a portée à
this question we brought it like our traffic engineers, the consultant we're working with,
Un petit mémo là-dessus.
and we were waiting for a little memo on this one.
Largement quelque chose qui devrait exister.
It's something that should exist everywhere. Is it a unit case? We do not have it everywhere, etc. But we should hear back. I have no timeline like this. I just wanted to make sure, like, did not forget.
Deuxième, c'est pour Monsieur Greffier.
Second one is for the clerk.
Le bylaw officer, je sais pas quoi ce qu'elle est en français, là.
The bylaw officer. Would it be possible that you would provide us with the, not every month, but every week, but a report like for infraction on offenses in our community, to know if there are trends and also to answer our citizens. We never see like the bylaw officer, or I know like previously we had one, but I think it would be important for the council like to get a report if ever like there's some trends. We would be able like to adopt a different approach or maybe modify our bylaws. So I meet him every 2 weeks, but we're a continuing contract. So probably I would be able to work to develop a report quite quick, easily, but majority, well, I would say like a lot of animal, a lot of complaints, either like animals roaming freely or some vehicles are not parked at the right place, and in terms of I would not say like homeless, but it's a situation we experience people who are like they're close like to some businesses like in the tennis court, and so in the summer it's something that's very common, but taking note of, and I will work on a report with them, something we could bring like something like we can when we have important information.
Conseiller Emile O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this evening, I would like to talk about the multi-sport surface. I hear that so the installations are closed for the winter. Just want to have an explanation, maybe like for the community life. So, director, what's happening like for is it the program or what the programming will? Is it really close for the winter? Is it?
Les installations sont pas formées.
So those installations are closed. You can still get on the multi-sport surface. I was there with my children and friends like last weekend. It's not closed, but we removed the boards like to winterize them. But because last year we adopt a motion with a surface where we would have a program like a 3 months, a 3 season, yeah, 3 seasons per year. So for the design of this project, it was always 4-season multi-sport surface. So when it was not built, it was built designed for 3 seasons. No, we had ice. It was for 3 seasons. That's what I remember. So it's open. So it's not closed for the. Yeah, you can go whenever you want.
Non, c'est pas fermé.
It's not closed, so you can go if you want. So you know, like the window wanted to install, there was a motion like was voted like for Mr. Yes, I can. Was to consult with the committee, and we're consulting the committee, and we're waiting like for an answer. So we did our homework. We're just waiting to receive something. That's good.
All right, Conseiller Paul Boudreau.
Councillor Paul Boudreau. Thank you.
Carbonate tennis, Julie.
Do you have any details, like an update, like we had asked like for the prices or?
Quand on va vous déposer le budget, les prix vont être dans le budget.
It would be in the 2025 budget. Thank you. So the other one, the person for the economic development, I would have a question. If you cannot answer this evening, I would like to get an email. The industrial park for Scodoc, where are they at? Like, are they, I know with the provincial election, like.
Oui, ça avance. En fait, on a
yes, we had. I think probably we mentioned it like over the last couple of meetings, but our counselor or our lawyer advisor received like some offers from the province. So it's being studied for a week. So I imagine within the last week we should have a detail. And the two parties are still discussing, but we did not get any details. What is the exact offer? The Anglophone school. Are things moving? Any details? It was announced a while back, but it seems to be static. I think they're just they want to purchase some land, and we cannot share the details because we're not doing any negotiations. The province, but we had discussion. The file is making progress, but nothing concluded. At the short discussion last week, it's the same thing. It's soon. They are at the last stretch, but. Once again, it's a land purchase. It does not involve us. We'll know once it's complete. Many people call me like the development like east of Ohio Street. So they remove the bulldozers are there. So they clear the land. So what's no one said you're not the only person who called me. So there's a person who called me. So once we have more detail. We'll share it with you. Thank you. And the last one, Public Works, we had asked like for the water line, like at the end of Pointe du Chêne. Any quotes on? Is it part of the budget or? I might be able to discuss it briefly, but we should have like a brief discussion at the next meeting, November 4th. Good. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you very much. Councillor Joël Després, thank you. Julie, it's a quick question for you. Yes, for the so receiver plan, just an idea of what they would be able to do, like consultant. So we are with the communication with the communications. Is there a line like to have a date to meet with them so the consultant can present like what was the idea, and then like the club will have to bring their ideas. So the work is not over, but we're making progress, and it's included like in the 2025 budget. So thank you very much. So this is the park for the Golden Age Club in Scodoc.
OK, merci beaucoup. Donc, on passe au prochain point. Présentation, lecture des arrêtés, on n'a pas, mais...
The bylaw. We have a few motions. Well, many.
Premier.
First, the Pelican Wharf, like the research title. So can you give us some background? So thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the council met the legal advisor like in camera a few weeks ago. So we presented him with the details of the research, title search that was asked. At this meeting, like the council gave a direction to the legal advisor and the council. And this evening, well, we are presenting like the resolution like the council asked for the Pelican Wharf. Councillor Joël Després, if you would like to read it, sure. 15 point Pelican Wharf title search. Whereas a group of citizens known, I will start. Whereas a group of citizens known as Friends of the Riverside Park have sent a notice to the municipal council indicating that the town of the Shediac may be the owner of a parcel of land identified by PID 706-68603. The parcel, whereas at its regular meeting of January 22nd, 2024, the council mandated the administration of the municipality to engage legal services to conduct a title search on the parcel. Whereas the administration of the municipality has retained the services of a law firm to proceed with the title search on the parcel, whereas the municipal administration and council have received the information gathered, the results and conclusion of the title search on the parcel in this legal opinion, therefore be resolved that the council mandate the administration of the municipality to advise the Friends of Riverside Park and the owners of the parcel that the town of Shediac will take no further action with respect to the parcel. Be it further resolved that the Shediac Municipal Council now considers the matter closed. I shall move, Mr. Mayor. Moved by Councillor Joël Bédé. Seconded by Councillor Janice Cormier. I would have a question. Question? Yes, no? Councillor Emile, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, like my support for this with the 400 people, so they put their name on the petition this evening. I'm asked to vote on the motion that I cannot live with it, and a motion I will not support. So I will be voting against the motion. Thank you, Councillor O'Brien.
I
will be asking all in favor, signify by saying aye. Against nay? One nay. It's been carried. In terms of private road, Pointe-du-Chêne. Mr. CEO, I forgot, like background. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This same meeting, the previous file, the council was presented like the study for the 4 options, and it was presented by the legal advisor, and the council gave a direction like to the legal advisor and the administration to prepare like a resolution and concerning like the private roads. So in your package, you should have this resolution. It's included like. Perfect. I would need a motion, resolution. Councillor Jean-Claude Bertin. Thank you. Private roads, Pointe-du-Chêne. Whereas at this meeting of February 5th, 2024, Council adopted a resolution authorizing the mayor and staff of the town of Shediac to investigate, assess, and report to Council on financial and other matters related to the town of Shediac taking over the basic maintenance of private roads in Pointe-du-Chêne. Whereas the staff of the town of Shediac has retained the services of a law firm to provide advice on the to provide the advice on financial and legal implications related to the town of Shediac taking over the basic maintenance of private roads in Pointe-du-Chêne. Whereas staff and council have received and reviewed the advice obtained from the law firm. Whereas the council is of the opinion that it's not in the best interest of the town of Shediac to take over the private roads in Pointe-du-Chêne. Therefore, be it resolved that the council maintain the status quo regarding the private roads in Pointe-du-Chêne. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Jean-Claude Bertin, seconded by Councillor Germaine Galland. Questions on the motion?
Councillor Harry McEnroy.
Councillor McEnroy.
I'm voting against this motion.
Can you bring your microphone closer to you? Sorry, Councillor. Yes.
I'm voting against this motion because I know in my heart and in my head that the status quo is not sustainable with regard to the maintenance of the roads of Pointe-du-Chêne Ward 2 town of Shediac. I understand and appreciate that there now needs to be an alternative proposal which the mayor and town administration can support. And to that end, I will begin work on such an alternative immediately. I would ask my colleagues on council who share my view that the status quo with regard to the maintenance of roads in Pointe-du-Chêne, Ward 2 of the town of Shediac is not good enough to support me in voting against this motion. I call for a recorded vote and would ask that following tonight's meeting, there be some rationale provided I understand and appreciate that you can't disclose a legal opinion, but I would like for the town to be able to provide some reasoning for an issue like this that's dragged on for years. And just to say, yeah, status quo. I would appreciate if something like that was prepared. And as I mentioned, in the meantime, I have another route in mind. And if council votes to maintain status quo, it kind of stymies a little bit going back to another option. So I'm asking my colleagues to defeat this motion, which essentially would leave things as they are, but allow us in the Point de Chine to work toward another proposal. Thank you. And I will offer a recorded vote.
I will do that by raised hand. Conseiller Paul Boudreau, tu avais une question?
Non, c'était
Non?
clarifié.
Ça a été clarifié?
The question was clarified.
Donc,
So,
avec aucune autre question, je vous demande.
with no further question, I would ask you,
Ah, okay. Sylvain was pointing at me, so I'm thinking, am I forgetting something? But, don't.
So,
Question.
Councillor Joël Després. Thank you, Ms.
It was not clear what you're asking, but I think so. Basically, we asked the administration to basically after the result we have from the lawyer that we were not going forward with this. Can you kind of clarify what you don't want us to accept this tonight?
Well, that's what he asked. I'm going to just speak for just a sec. He has to defeat the motion, essentially, and he felt that it's going to provide the town the opportunity to look at another option. Is that it? That's what he's saying.
Go on. If we defeat this motion and you bring another one, what your plan is to go, they're going to be able to work on a different one, right?
Essentially, la motion qui est ici va.
Essentially, the motion here essentially will say that we're keeping the status quo. In terms of the initiatives for the municipality,
the municipality will not be engaging in another initiative or another direction. Anyway, I was going to say another road, but I don't want to say that. Simple.
If I could,
Councillor McEnroe?
a further explanation. If there is no action taken by the town at this time, then it's clear that none of the options that have been proposed, which were outlined in our meeting of June 17th, I believe.
Yes.
The 4 options that were looked at. So what I'm asking is, rather than shut the door on doing anything at all with regard to changing the way the roads are maintained, if the motion is defeated, then another option could be looked at by the administration.
If I can,
one way or the other, I guess I'm going to be continually working on it, but it would be it would show some support for, okay, well, look, these items are obviously the town is not prepared. The administration and mayor are not prepared to support anything at this time. Even if that was the way that it came out, I just want there not to be 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 5 months from now, if something totally different comes back, we say, no, we already decided we're not going to do anything. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Okay.
And I think if I can just add, when the file was presented to council, they were presented the options or the risks of each option. The direction that was given to administration by consensus of council was to prepare this motion. Obviously, council can decide, debate, and determine which route they want to take. But at that meeting, it was the direction that was given was to provide this motion to be debated. That being said, it does not stop a group of citizens of asking for those services. I think council wish at that meeting was to have this debated for the status quo to be maintained.
Conseiller Boudreau, question?
Oui, mais c'est ça que je voulais demander tantôt. Après ça, j'ai oublié.
That's what I wanted
Okay.
to add.
Tu vois la raison
If you see like the reasons or they're not addressing the other option.
à la réunion qu'on a eue avec la vision.
So the meeting we had with the legal advisor, according to him,
recommandait fortement
would strongly recommended us
les options.
to deny all the options.
The legal he suggested that we refuse all the options, right? That's what I'm trying to get clear here.
I don't think, again, on
Yeah,
legal
just to be-
opinion, it was not on refusing. This was the recommended route.
Right.
You know, I think refuse is a big word because council makes that decision with the motion. So I think his recommendation based on what was
Right.
evaluated was to maintain the status quo.
Right.
And I think that's what was presented tonight in your packages.
Oui, c'est ça.
OK. Donc,
So
on this vote, all those in favor, raise your hand. 4, 6, 7. All those against? 2.
It's not recorded for Shediac.
Well, the 2 votes out of the entire group are Councillor Emile O'Brien and Councillor Harry McElroy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merci. Prochain.
next item,
Vérificateur financier de la ville de Shediac. Monsieur le
financial audits for the town Shediac. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
À chaque année, on doit
Each year, like we have to
faire la vérification financière.
do the financial audit of our books.
En temps normal, nous,
Usually, like
nous allons au marché pour
we go to the market and
une offre pouvoir
ask for an offer, like to make sure like
l'offre qu'on reçoit.
still competitive with the offers we're receiving.
Je dirais l'équipe de finance est
And the finance team is quite new and would like to have a little bit more of wiggle room on behalf of the council, like to extend like the existing contract for 2 additional years. So it would give us time to prepare like an offer to go back to the market for year 2027. So the audit, like for the ongoing year, like will be held in the next couple of months, and so we would have enough time in 2025 or the evaluation for 2026 to prepare someone during the year 2025, beginning of 2026, so in 2026. So we get a service offer like for many years. So it would make our life easier and would create more stability. So we're asking a bit of latitude from the council so we can have an extension with the existing auditor for 2 years, 2 additional years. Any questions? Councillor Patso, would you like to read it? I need a motion. Then you can be able to. Financial auditors of township. Whereas the agreement with Grant Thornton ended with the audit of the 2023 financial statement, whereas the administration wishes to ensure short-term stability in the municipality's financial processes, therefore, be it resolved that the services of Grant Thornton be retained to perform the annual audit of the financial statements of the town of Shediac for the current year 2024 at the cost of $46,870 plus HST and for an addition in the year 2025 at a cost of $49,215.50 plus HST. I shall move, Mr. Mayor. Moved by Councillor Bourcheverry, seconded by Councillor Jean-Claude Bertrand. Question on the motion. I'm a chair of a committee. It's called Audit the Committee. So would we have a role to play? We had no obligation, like in terms of, because I think we met once with the former like CEO. Everything seems was left there, and I'm completely comfortable the way you explain it, and I see, yes, the background would be easier. I just want to make sure that. So sorry not to bring it to the audit committee, but Yes, of course. We're getting ready for the budget process, and we wanted to have an amount like that to adopt it before, just to give us a little bit more flexibility and a breathing room. So, for the learning of our team, like being built. The current practice, if it was a new auditor next year, might have created a little more work, a bigger workload, like to deal with a different auditor. I think it's good, like to test the market. There's a concept called verification fatigue, and sometimes when you're always using the same auditor, sometimes it's nice like to test the market, but we'd like to have a little bit of a latitude, like to allow the administration to breathe, and then could come back to council with an offer. So once we test the market, so that's okay. I'm okay with this. It's just like we never established like what was the mandate of the committee. Oh no, I'm okay with this. Councilor Lacombe, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. C, we're talking 27. So the proposal I see, like I do not see like 2025. We're talking about 2025, but the 2027 is 2024 and 2025. It's not 2026, but you have to understand like the verification for 2020 is on 2026, 2020. I know the process, but so it means in 2026 we'll go call to tender. So now I'm more in favor like to maintain and so your principle like I agree with it. That's what I would do. Like I'm ready like to give you a bit of wiggle room for not 2024. So we agree. Perfect.
Merci.
Thank you. So with that, all those in favor shall say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. 15.4, express accounts for the members of the municipal council. Mr. CEO, thank you, Your Worship. This year was a busy year with different activities as part of the 75th anniversary of the Lobster Festival. And at the request of a few councillors, we want to see if we could revise the formula, not the formula, but the amount granted for the year to date. The amount that we're speaking of would be maybe adding $500 per councillor so they can close out the year with the various activities that there will be from here to Christmas, or up to $500. It's not an amount that we're giving to you. It's based on the expenses incurred. It would allow a bit more flexibility to councillors so that you could be a bit more active for the activities during the fiscal year. The other thing I would add is that the total that was allocated was for a first time with our no per diem system. It was a figure that Finance and CAO had put together to the best of their guessing. Councillor Jean-Marie Gallon, you want to read it?
Compte de dépenses des membres du conseil municipal.
Expense accounts. Whereas with all the festivities surrounding the 75th anniversary of the Lobster Festival last summer, in addition to the other representational activities normally required of municipal councillors, the expense accounts have been practically used up. Therefore, be it resolved that the expense accounts of all town council members be increased by $500 to complete the year 2024. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Germaine Galland, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Any questions? Councillor Boudreau, that's a comment. In terms of transparency, I know that every month or second month, it was always on the website. We spoke of social media. Our expense accounts are public knowledge. Will this be done again? This is done. We're up to date right now, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. CEO, Mr. Clerk, for 2024 will be updated. There's some new file that's available. 2023-24 are now available. My other question, is this something that we can look over as a group in terms of our expense accounts? There's inaudible. Something like beer garden. It's not allowed under our expense accounts. So if you look into that in terms of alcohol, this is something that we should review. It's on the list of things to be revised. Clearly, with the reform, it's a new world. That policy had existed for some time and within municipality. I recommended to the mayor that we look at this in 2025. Thank you. To revise it. We'll have a discussion during the budget process in terms of the amount to allocate, but there'll be elements that will be refined. It's good. Thank you. So, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor shall say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. The next items are all revisions or creation of administrative policies. Mr. CAO, I think there are 5. The question that I will ask above all, Your Worship, I don't see where there are changes to the policy. We had asked the last time we had policies that we show the changes. If it's a particular paragraph or when, in bold, I don't see this. If it's the case for everything, I would propose that we push this back 2 weeks. If there are bolded that I missed, I'm sorry, and I'll allow the CAO to explain it to us. But I would vote against it if I don't have the bolded elements. You want to see the change. I'm not calling to question the explanations of the CAO. I want to read the policy and understand it, and I'll be forced to vote against it. I don't want to vote against it. I'm in your hands. So Mr. CAO will deal with this in his explanations. Forgive me, I'm still new. I'm learning as I go. I'm learning the policies. 4 of those 5 policies are new. They are recommendations that were perhaps part of a previous policy, but as I understand it, 4 of those policies are completely new. One is a revised version. I would recommend, if they feel more comfortable to see where the changes are, that we come back and go back on it on a future meeting so I can answer that question. For all of them or just for the one with changes? That's my question for Mr. CAO. We're fine to table them. We've developed them. I'll need a bit more information to answer your questions. Inaudible. For the new ones, there's some veterans who would know what's new and what's not. But in my mind, it would be good that when we send us back the policies, they put new policy. That way, I know that it's all new. And then we'll study it closer because it's new. We want to make a more informed decision than if there's 2 paragraphs in the proposal that says there's a change. Other municipal councils have looked at it before. So we'll focus on the 2 paragraphs where you recommend that we change or amend things. In theory, the policies should, if it's a modification or an amendment, or if it's something new that's newly adopted, I'll use the example of leave from work. If you absence from work, if you go below, there's a policy adopted in 1990. It was revised May 10, 2024. So it's included within. If there's any dates within there, that means there's new. It's new. Inaudible. I will ask the question. given that there's no big hurry on the part of staff, we could come back with all of those 5 at a future meeting, including all the new ones. I simply need a motion to table those 5 items, moved by Councillor Ronald Cormier, seconded by Councillor Janice Cormier, the Cormier and Cormier team. Haha.
No.
For table? No, it's a majority vote. To add an item to the agenda. All those in favor shall say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. So now it's 15.6, mutual agreement, regional emergency measures plan. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for supporting me for a good part of the evening here. The mutual aid agreements need to be revised, and I would tell the reason for this is that it comes out of there are several different reasons, but mainly there's been a few years when this reform was being discussed. The coordinator of emergency measures for this region, the executive directors and the coordinators of emergency measures had regular meetings on the emergency measures file, and it was indicated that during the reform that there some municipalities had some shortfalls in terms of plans. There's no real consistency from one municipality to the next, and there was a certain movement in terms of staff to have a greater collaboration and a regional standardization of all the various plans. Frankly, when there's a situation where emergency measures come into play, there's a high probability that the services, the protective services that we'll need to access, that we will be receiving some from other municipalities. We have existing agreements with the fire hall from Kapolei, Moncton, the town city of Moncton, in terms of lending equipment if ever we need that equipment. But really, this will play a greater role in planning regional emergency measures. It goes even further than the borders of the Southeast Regional Service Commission. It will also cover municipalities in Kent. This is a much larger region. So right now, we're asking the council as a first step to adopt the mutual aid agreement that will be signed in conjunction with all the different partners of all the municipalities, of all those municipalities that will be part of this mutual aid agreement. So if you had the chance to read La Nouvelle this week, there's an article, and it spoke about this. Beausoleil brought forth the same file to its council and raised the same questions, asked the questions of why. Basically, it's to have a better regional planning for emergency measures. This will require a mutual aid agreement when the need arises, so that other partners can come help us. And in reciprocity, we can help them when they need help. Thank you. Councillor Paul Boudreau, would you like to read it? I didn't know there's a reading. Please let somebody else do it. I'll ask my question again. Councillor Jean-Claude Bertin, you want to read it? Mutual agreement, regional emergency measures plan. Whereas a regional emergency response plan is being developed and municipalities from Kent and Southeast are part of it. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipal council accept the recommendation from the administration to sign the regional emergency mutual aid agreement. I so move. Moved by Councillor Jean-Claude Bertin, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. So, Councillor Boudreau, do you have a question? Don't we have an agreement with the firefighters that if there's a call outside of the region, that it's funded? And congratulations, it's a great initiative. Will it affect the formula? That formula must come from Fredericton. Well, we do already offer services. We sell services to other jurisdictions. Our neighbors, for example, go past the borders of Greater Shediac. And they already pay to buy our services, but jurisdictions like the city of Moncton, the city of Dieppe, we don't have agreements with them. They don't buy services for us. They're covered with all the services that they need to serve their own municipality. But let's say that there were to be a need. I don't want to use examples like I don't want to use the like McGontic style example, or let's say there's a plane crash and we need resources from outside of their borders. Obviously, we'll be there to answer, to respond if needed, and it's reciprocal. If we need it, there's some pieces of equipment that the larger centers have that we don't have yet, so we need to have that equipment. So it makes it legit. It covers the criteria of how we would be proceeding to those exchanges. Who is responsible to pay the costs should they come up?
No.
So with that, all those in favor shall say aye. Motion, contrary-minded? Nay. Motion carried. Thank you very much. So they have no appointments to committees. So all that's remaining is adjournment. Councillor Germain Gallant moves adjournment.